I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency.
So that's Trump coming out against CBDCs, claiming that banning them will protect Americans from government tyranny. Although this represents a positive shift of the Overton window, I'm going to make the case for why I see it as mostly political smoke and mirrors and cover for something that already exists now and is therefore far more dangerous to all Americans. Vivek turned Trump onto CBDCs. Can he turn him onto Bitcoin as well? New slogan idea for 2024: make money great again. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Swan Bitcoin channel. I'm Hurley, and we are so early. We're so early to Bitcoin that millions of people around the world still hold a large portion of their wealth in real estate, an immovable, terribly illiquid, expensive to maintain, and heavily taxed store of value. But we're not here to talk about real estate. We're here to talk about Bitcoin and 2024 presidential candidate Donald Trump, who is making some waves recently with his remarks around central bank digital currencies. Before we continue, I just want to take a minute to say that here at Swan, we're on a mission to educate the world about Bitcoin. So if you enjoy our content, please like this video and subscribe to the channel to extend our reach on YouTube and help cut out the crypto noise. Okay, back to Trump. Here's a clip from a few days ago from a rally in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where he went on to win in the primaries a few days later.
I'm also making another promise to protect Americans from government tyranny. As your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. You know about that? Ooh. I didn't know you know so much. I'm very, well, New Hampshire, very smart people. Very current. You know what they're doing. Such a currency would give a federal government, our federal government, the absolute control over your money. They could take your money, you wouldn't even know it was gone.
Now, I see a lot of people online applauding Trump for taking this stance. And I get it. Sure, it's a move in the right direction. These ideas are shifting within the Overton window ever so slowly, and that is a good thing. As a Bitcoiner, though, I can't help but see this as pure political opportunism. There was another clip that surfaced earlier this week of Trump once again denouncing CBDCs, but this time giving credit to Vivek Ramaswamy, his former opponent in the Republican primaries, for being the one that informed him on the dangers of CBDCs.
And this I do for Vivek, because he's very big into it. I happen to agree with him, but he said, could you mention this? I will never. He said, I love Vivek. I love him too now. I didn't love him when he was running, but I like him now. It's amazing the way you can like somebody when you win, right? But Vivek is great. He's really great. But he wanted this, and I'll give him full credit for it. It's very important, actually. I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency.
I can totally see this as easy pickings for the Trump campaign. Vivek talked a lot about financial tyranny and the dangers of CBDCs during his campaign. And so with Vivek now out of the race and endorsing Trump, he can easily gobble up all those Vivek supporters simply by saying he hates CBDCs too. The thing I find most interesting about all of this, though, is the wording Trump used in the clip from New Hampshire. He said he's making this promise to protect Americans from government tyranny. He says CBDCs give the federal government absolute control over your money, saying they can be used to, quote, take your money from you. I got some bad news for you, fam. These tyrannical powers that these purported CBDCs give the federal government already mostly exist today. The government already has the power to shut down your accounts and seize or confiscate all the money you hold in the bank. With a flip of a switch, they can decide you are an enemy of the state, a threat to national security, or a domestic terrorist, and debank you. I'm Canadian, so I saw this firsthand with the trucker protest a few years ago. Normal, everyday Canadians saw their bank accounts frozen for simply donating as little as $20 to a peaceful protest that the government in power saw as a threat. Plus, if you use a credit card for most of your daily purchases like most Americans, they already have the ability to surveil your every purchase and can therefore basically track your daily movements and habits. On top of that, they already have full control over the price of money by manipulating interest rates through the Fed and expanding the money supply on a whim, debasing your savings by a minimum of 2% per year, every year. While CBDCs do obviously represent a dangerous progression and expansion of the powers governments and central banks hold over the fiat money we use, those expansions mostly amount to more granular tightening of controls over things like distribution, even easier tools of surveillance, and added programmability. I'm not here to diminish the evils that a CBDC would unlock on its citizenry. These tools would likely eventually lead us on a path to a total digital panopticon, on par with the financial capital controls tied to a social credit system already being piloted in China. But you can't deny the fact that as it stands now, in a world where cash is already disappearing and the majority of our money changes hands digitally, the controlling mechanisms that make the government our masters are already in place. My overall point here is that in order to get me even remotely interested in politics these days, you have to start talking about the real solution to the problem. Banning the creation of CBDCs is not enough. We need to fix the money. We need to make money great again. And the only way we do that is with Bitcoin. With politicians beginning to denounce the implementation of CBDCs, they can then wash their hands of the issue and pretend that they have in fact saved the American people from government tyranny when the actual instrument that is being used to enslave and drain wealth from the populace is still in place. And far too many are ignorant to the solution staring us in the face. So now comes the question. Vivek Ramaswamy had some pro-Bitcoin policies during his campaign. And now that he's turned Trump to the evils of CBDCs, will he turn him onto the benefits of Bitcoin next? I don't expect Trump to come out with any pro-Bitcoin stance anytime soon, if ever. During his presidency, he was historically against Bitcoin, calling it a scam in one breath, and then saying it was competing against the dollar in the next. In the end, he is very pro-US dollar, and his interests lie in keeping it reigning as the world reserve currency. And this is why I see his stance against CBDCs as being smoke and mirrors. Sure, a Trump presidency might make the creation of CBDCs much less likely than they already are, but it also wouldn't do anything to help fix the real problem plaguing society today, and that's our centralized, printed out of thin air monetary system. CBDCs are not. So hold your politicians accountable. As I said earlier, I'm Canadian, so my opinions on American politics don't mean much, but I can say that my current stance on politics is that I'm a single issue voter. If you haven't come out in favor of financial freedom and more specifically pro-Bitcoin policies, you will not get my vote. So what do you think? How important is Trump's move to denounce CBDCs? Will Vivek turn him onto Bitcoin next? Do politics even matter anymore now that we have Bitcoin as our primary means to vote? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, so please leave a comment, let's open up a dialogue. And don't forget to subscribe to the Swan Bitcoin channel for more Bitcoin signal. Also, check out my 2024 Outlook video, the Year of the Bull, and the one on the incoming Bitcoin marketing blitz with the recent ETFs launching. Thanks for watching, and until next time, Bitcoin is peace.